Okay, I think we are live. Get a sip of my water, get my radio voice going. Let's see who trickled in here. These have actually had a pretty decent turnout the last few days. It takes people a minute to get in here, though. It takes people a minute to get in. I am going to state with these, like I was saying earlier, I'm going to try to be much more polite with people. Yeah, it looks like you're the first. I'm probably not going to warn people, but I'm just going to remove anyone who trolls. And people say, "Well, I can't tell if I'm trolling." You can't tell if you're trolling, then maybe you shouldn't interact with other human beings. I'm just saying. People know when they're doing it. And here's a basic rule to follow in here. I'm going to be respectful to people in here. I demand it in return. Um, Here's the basic rule you should use. Ask yourself if what I'm about to say, would I dare say this to another man and face to face? Would I do that? Or would I be worried about getting fired or written up at my job if I said this to someone at work in front of a manager? Right? I think that's a good rule. Like if you think that what you're about to write might get you in trouble at your job, or might cause another person in person to physically strike you, that's probably not a good idea to say that. And I think that's a fair rule. Okay, so we got some questions going. Emperor Biden says, "Appreciate the new attitude, Jason. Shows personal growth. Thank you." And I'm not saying I'm always going to be consistent. I'm going to slip up. With a pause, done for a full range of motion, are phenomenal chest builders. And I like that combination. I mean, if you really want to combine a couple exercises together, that's a real good combo. And I've done videos on that recently. How do you eat an ultra high carb diet without the bloat? Get certain carbs. Dean, you need to ask what else is going on that's causing you to bloat in your diet. Are you consuming too much sodium? Because if I eat a bunch of salt, yeah, I mean, I'll put on 10 pounds of water. I don't eat a lot of salt these days. That's a factor. The other thing, people who worry about that, it's kind of like, what's your drug stack look like? If carbs are bloating you that much and you tell me you're drug free, I'm going to question it. I'm going to usually question, number one, you're bullshitting me about your drugs. Number two, sorry, that's just a fact. Number two, maybe you have a body image issue and you're not really bloating as much as you think. Because carbs in general, unless you have a specific intolerance, shouldn't be causing that. Okay, it shouldn't be causing that. Now, you might have some gastrointestinal issues contributing, and that's what's going on. It's not the carbohydrates, because if you can eat a bunch of white rice, you probably are not going to bloat from it. Yeah, an indicator of a chest weakness. On your bench, possibly, yeah. Jason, you mad at me for correcting your grammar? No, we're cool. All good, man. Have you taken any legal action to prevent your footage being used to train an AI fit? What? I have no idea what that even means. I don't even know. I don't understand your question. No idea. Was Will Tennyson one of your clients? I know he is a huge fan. No, he did contact me at one time about possibly coming on, but he never did. I haven't done overhead press in 2 years, and shoulders are my best body part, probably just my genetic strong point, since my shoulders were always better relative to other parts. I don't see much point in overhead press. Yeah, it's something in my stance has changed on quite a bit over the years. And I think I've discussed in a live why that needs to be. There's reasons I need to, for personal purposes, need to kind of look down on the overhead press. And it has to do with the fact that I know that it hurts my shoulders. I know that it holds my bench back, right? Repeatedly over and over and over and over. Shoulder health is critical, is one of the biggest factors in me getting my bench up to where it is now. It's been a huge factor. And because I really had an emotional attachment to the ovireceptors, so again, nuanced topic. AI is looking at training footage and creating programs without compensating the creators. People are suing AI. No, I did not know that, Charles. Jason, is your program on Boost Camp? I don't know what that is. Yeah, I have no idea what that is. Besides creatine, vitamin D, and omegas, are there any other supplements worth taking for recovery, general health? Yeah, K2 potentially, if you need it, depending on what's up with your diet, possibly magnesium. I like melatonin for sleep quality. I asked about deep squats, and you told me it's my choice. Zach, here's the thing I've found as I've gotten older. This is one of the things that Wendler, and I get that Wendler does put out some stuff that's really trendy and some bro science stuff. I get that. But he's got a lot of really good information. He is a legitimately good coach. He really is. And he's kind of noted the same thing. Look, all the deep squatting for your older lifters, it doesn't do well for knees. And I know people want to claim, oh, that's not true. But we've all observed it, right? We've all observed it. So the thing is, as you get older, it's just something to think about. It's a reason I'm not doing much of it these days. It's a reason I'm doing things a little different with that. And if you metabolic benefits to higher protein, but for your gains themselves, nothing. No, there's no reason to think there is. Jason, our First Amendment audit's unethical. I don't know what a First Amendment audit is. What happened to the breakfast chats that were good? I'm not eating in front of the camera anymore. In fact, the ones that you saw were all old by the time they came up. So those breakfast chats, I continued to upload them once after I quit making them. So I haven't done any of those in well over a year, and I don't see them coming back. What happened to breakfast chats? Oh, sorry. What is your program? My home programming. I have 5 or 6 free programs on this page. A lot of them are very, very well known. They're here available. Jason, what handgun would you recommend for a novice who needs it for self-defense? I don't want to do a lot of gun stuff here. I like a Glock 19 as a starter. What are you practicing on the guitar these days besides scales and picking exercises? This week I am working on Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits, which is actually one of my favorite songs. It's one of my favorite songs of all time. I've been doing a lot of Texas blues stuff lately, but I decided to grab that one and mess with it a little bit. I decided to mess with it, and so I'm working on it. I'm struggling getting the picking down on it, though, the way I would like. Okay. I understand where you're coming from, but that's just one coach. There are countless elderly people. Zach, again, it's been a lot of my experience that is true. And so, again, I just choose not to do it, and I choose not to generally promote it past a certain point. Please play the guitar on live stream. I don't want to do that yet. John, eventually, I might do that. Thank you for the donation, though. I'm not going to do it right now, but eventually I might. David, the difference is I actually program a lot of conjugate. 531 is a very, very, very specific program, a set of books, and I don't use it. I'm not that big on it. Can we get a look at your home studio? Well, you can kind of see all my stuff back there. It's not really that complicated of a studio. I've got my guitars there. I've got my amp down there, my Marshall amp, the Xbox Series X, I believe that's what I have. I forget the names. God, I forget names and stuff. It's pretty much what I have in the studio. Got my exercise bike right over there, my printer. Recommend them to them. It's usually what I do. Is it possible to make it on YouTube Fitness as a natty since most fitness YouTubers are on gears? No. Marco, no. It's not going to happen. Last squat question, man, but considering you've had issues with depth in the past, you're trying to go to most other lightweight, wouldn't it be better? Zach, I kind of feel like I've answered that one into the ground. I don't feel the knee health side is worth it. It's just not. Ben, I have lived in College Station before. I think everyone already knows that. I've been training like crazy for years. Oh, someone says, do you have any clients who competed in street lifting? I'm not 100% sure what street lifting is. All right. All right, this guy says, I've been training like crazy for years and have the exact same total I had 10 years ago. Very frustrating. Could be due to my age. That could be. Yeah, absolutely. But David, your score improved. So here's the thing. If you're 10 years older and you change weight classes, your dots and Wilks have gone up, even if you hit the same total. You are now more competitive. Always remember that. Does sumo have better carryover to conventional than vice versa? You coach women who are on gear. I have. What's with the MGTOW stuff you posted? I don't have any MGTOW stuff. Yeah, sorry, Chris. I don't have MGTOW stuff. No, I said that I'm not a fan. That's just not my scene. That is literally what I said on Facebook. I'm sorry if you're really into that scene and it's your thing. I mean, that's your business. I'm just not. I mean, it's okay. It's not my bag, baby. Depends on the person. Oh, Chris, you said where did the MGTOW thing come from? Because people were asking me. They were literally asking me, and they thought I was part of it. And I'm like, no, sorry, guys, I'm not. It was multiple people on multiple platforms. No question. Just wanted to stop by and say thanks for the free info you give. You were most welcome, Benny. Chris says, would you consider yourself red pilled? No, I wouldn't. Nope. Not my thing, dude. Do you agree with Louis Simmons? Why do Good Morning seem to carry a reputation of being unsafe in comparison to other lifts? I don't know, Ziller. I don't get it myself. Darko, we've all had clients who got seriously hurt. I've had clients who got hurt doing stuff I didn't even program for them. I have literally had clients do something outside of the program that I wrote for them and get injuries that required surgery. I mean, it happens. I've had a client who I told to reset their deadlifts, and they did a higher rep set, taking it to 1 rep in reserve, and they started bouncing it and doing touch and go and got hurt, right? Even though I told them I wanted them to reset the reps. Of course, they didn't blame me. They did say, you were right. You told me this before. I didn't listen, and now I have to have surgery. It happens. These things happen. It's just the nature of it. It doesn't happen that often. How does the training that you give your fighters differ the training for a power lifter? It's just differences. I mean, I've put up blogs kind of showing the difference. You guys have seen multiple of my powerlifter vlogs, and then you've seen definitely a fighter vlog, right? So go look at Josh's vlogs. Josh is always kind of in and out as a client. He's supposed to be back already, but I never know how that's going to work out. All right. Thoughts on cold showers? I prefer hot showers. Why would you want to take a cold shower? I mean, I guess if it's really hot, a cold shower might be good. Do you think it's a good idea to go on a 2-year-long bulk like Devin Palumbo did to gain a lot of mass? Or is it better to have mini cuts? No, I think sometimes it's justified. Did a client ever blame you for getting hurt even though it was their fault? Darko, no, I've not actually had that happen. Okay. John, I'm not going to answer some of those questions now. I do appreciate the donation, though, that you gave, but I'm not going to go into questions about my thoughts on specific ethnic groups of women. Come on. You know, I don't want this to be some ridiculous racist rant that starts. Okay, I'm not interested in that. Okay, I'm not interested. I just don't care. Will client Isaac come back in the future? That will not be happening. And again, I'm not going to reveal people's personal information. Again, I'm a coach. I will simply say that the option will not be open. You know, unless he just wanted to give me an exorbitant amount of money for it. You know, I mean, I suppose in theory for $1,000 a month, any client could return. Joking aside, but no, not going to happen. All right, so let's skim through some of the stuff that people should already know about my own training. What would you choose between an F-150, a Silverado, and a 1500? I don't know. They all have perks. I've actually owned an F-150. I've owned 2 different Silverados. I don't know. Are you making me pick? How many clients have you had to fire over the year? That's a good question. How many clients have I fired? Like I told them, we're done. 3. So it's pretty rare, relatively rare. It happens though. I mean, as a coach or a trainer, it will happen to you eventually. Always go down during a cut since it seems that the most correlation with body weight. My bench always sucked due to long arms and had to bulk to make gains on it. I'm worried about losing them on a cut. So not always. It's most likely to go down, Marco. I don't want us to get caught up in the idea that it's always right. That it's always going to go down. It's very likely to go down. You know, it's very likely to go down, but it's not guaranteed to. I mean, in some cases, you might actually increase it. That's just rare. By the way, I wanted to thank you for your inspiration. I now coach almost 30 clients at $800 a month. You coach 800 each? That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal, dude. Oh my God. I wouldn't have gotten started without your lead. The business has been very fruitful to me. Chris, I'm very, very glad to hear that. I'm very glad to hear that I inspired you to do so, right? Is a 405 astrograph squat just as impressive as a 500 parallel squat? No. Nope. You know, it's just as impressive. A 500 astrograph squat is just as impressive as a 500 parallel. I recently read about longer arm lifters taking a more narrow grip on the bench to allow more tricep engagement while losing much chest activation. Do you think this is true? I don't know that that's really the case. I think you do lose chest activation. I think you do. Can wrist straps help with tennis elbow? I don't know that that's the key with real growth hormone. We're not in the dark ages anymore. Okay. I want people to understand we're not in the dark ages anymore. Growth hormone is not that hard to get or expensive. It really isn't. Things have changed in the last 5 years, a lot. So with the price and availability of growth hormone, I think those peptides are completely obsolete. What's the most stupid steroid cycle you've ever seen a first timer do? I've seen novices use 2 grams before. What's your thought? Okay. Find your weak links and hypertrophy it. What were some of your favorite jazz songs to play back in the day? I don't even remember whatever they had us play in the class and with the little things we did at the school. Eye of the Tiger. And before you laugh, you're going to be like, what? That's not a jazz song. Okay. This is a high school class. And our instructor really liked Eye of the Tiger. So even though it was honors jazz, almost everything we did in the class was work on scales. He'd have us do everything off of a B flat blues scale. And we learned how to play Eye of the Tiger so that we could perform Eye of the Tiger at a basketball game at school. I mean, again, context. It's high school. It was a high school class. But you know what? It was fun, and I learned a lot of things there. I learned a lot of things about music in that class, and it changed my view of music quite a bit. And I'm glad that I took it. Right? I'm glad I took it, even though I quit playing not long after high school. Now that I picked it back up, there's things that I learned in the class that are helpful. But I'm gonna be honest. Like the only song that I remember us doing was "Eye of the Tiger." Eye of the Tiger, like, Rocky. Yeah. Like you did really well for you in the past. I actually might. I've thought about it. Chris, I'm not going to go into the specifics on Facebook and money. Like that's no one's business. But if you did basic research, you would already know the answer to that. You would know that Facebook has 8 different monetization programs. So, but I'm not going to go into my specifics. Have any of your clients experienced issues with personal confidence? If so, how do you deal with that? Different ways. I mean, stuff we talk about with some of them. Confidence outside the weight room, confidence under a heavy weight. It's just you deal with it as an individual. Figure out what your client needs. You do it. All right, guys. But I feel like this was a good live. Everything went good. It was productive. Trolling was minimal, which is a good thing. And I was very polite to every one of them, including some of you who I thought about getting rid of, but I didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. Hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.